So you found a home? You love it? So you're ready to sign those papers and pop the champagne, right? Hold up. Because here in North Carolina, one little signature on the wrong line or one missed deadline can cost you thousands of dollars. So let me break down what's actually inside that big scary thing called the 2T offer to purchase contract in plain English, so you don't get burned when you're trying to buy your dream home here in Charlotte. Now, before we get into it, if you're planning to buy in North or South Carolina, make sure you grab my free Charlotte relocation guide down below. It walks you through the entire process, step by step, from pre-approval all the way to closing day. And when you're ready to make moves, just use one of the links below and hit me up. We'll talk strategy, we'll make it fun, and make sure that your next move is a smart one. All right, let's talk about the 2T contract, or as I like to call it, the everything bagel of home buying, because it's got a little bit of everything: money, timelines, inspections, and a whole lot of fine print most people never read. But don't worry, you're about to sound like a pro. Let's start with everyone's favorite topic, money. In North Carolina, you got two deposits. There's due diligence fee and the Earnest Money deposit. Your due diligence fee is non-refundable. Once the seller accepts your offer, that money goes directly to them, and it gives you the right to do all of your homework on the property: inspections, research, appraisals, finance, all before you finally commit. Now, your Earnest Money, that's your I'm serious deposit. It goes into an escrow account and it's non-refundable, but only if you back out before your due diligence period ends. Think of it like this: due diligence is your risk and Earnest Money is your promise. Now, don't panic. If the deal closes, both amounts get credited back to you at closing. So it's not gone forever. It's just part of the process here. Now, I'm deep diving into this topic in next week's video, so make sure you subscribe. It is critical that you understand these deposits before offering, okay? If there's one line in this contract that can make or break you, it's this: time is of the essence. That means if your due diligence period ends on Friday at 5 p.m. and you try to cancel at 5:01, that's too late. There's no oops, my bad clause. So when you go under contract, treat those dates like sacred ground. Set reminders in your phone, your calendar. I mean, damn, write it on your forehead if you have to. But because once those deadlines pass, your money and your dream home are officially on the line. Now let's talk about disclosures, because this one surprises a lot of buyers. See, in North Carolina, sellers are required to provide a residential property disclosure form. But here's the catch: they can legally choose no representation. That means they're not confirming or denying anything about the property's condition. What they're basically saying is, you figure it out. And that's exactly why inspections are so important. When a seller checks no representation, it's on you, the buyer, to do the digging and to make sure you know what you're getting into. Here's what I recommend for every buyer. Start with a general home inspection. That's your main guy, the one who checks all your systems and gives you a full breakdown of what's working, what's questionable, and what's and then a termite or pest inspection, because let's be real, nobody wants roommates with 6 legs. I don't. If the house has a crawl space or a basement, I recommend you get a radon test. It's invisible, it's serious, and it's worth it. And make sure you get that HVAC system check. A bad unit could cost you 10 grand just like that. If your inspector sees cracks, sagging floors, or anything that screams structure issue, bring in a structural engineer to confirm. For homes with a septic system or well, you'll want those inspected too. And finally, a survey. It confirms your property lines and avoids those awkward, that's my fence, no, that's my fence, neighbor arguments. And here's my pro tip: schedule your inspections immediately. The due diligence clock does not stop ticking. And once that period expires, you're locked in. Now, once your inspection reports are in, you can ask the seller to fix things, offer a credit, or reduce the price. But here's the key: it all has to be agreed upon in writing before your due diligence ends. And after that date passes, the seller, Doesn't have to fix a single thing. And please, for the love of sanity, don't get hung up on small stuff like scuff walls, loose doorknobs. Focus on the big things: the roof, the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, foundation. I've seen buyers walk away from amazing homes all because of a dirty vent. Don't do it. So here's something most people don't realize. North Carolina doesn't have separate financing or appraisal contingencies. Once your due diligence period ends, you're in, no matter what. If your loan falls through or the appraisal comes in low after that deadline, you lose both deposits. That's why I always tell my clients, don't even think about making an offer until you're fully pre-approved and working with a responsive lender. Here in North Carolina, all real estate closings go through attorneys, not title companies. Your closing attorney checks the title, manages all the money, and officially records the deed so the home becomes yours. And just to be clear and clear up a common question, items like washers, dryers, and especially refrigerators are not automatically included in the sale. If you want it, make sure it's written into your contract. Don't assume it's staying. Before closing, you'll wire your funds, and listen, always call your attorney directly to verify those wiring instructions. Wire fraud is real and it's scary, and I don't want to see anyone lose their hard-earned money. Once everything is signed, recorded, and funded, boom, the keys are yours. Time for the happy dance. Now, if someone breaks the contract, if a buyer walks away after due diligence, they lose both deposits. I've had buyers who chose to terminate after deadline for personal reasons. And yes, they lose their deposits. It's not fun, but it happens. If a seller backs out for no legitimate reason, the buyer can sue for breach or specific performance, which basically means you agreed to sell me this house and we're gonna make it happen. So yeah, this contract has some teeth. That's why understanding it up front protects you from heartbreak later. All right, now you officially know more about the North Carolina real estate contract than most first-time buyers ever will. If this video helped you out, hit that subscribe button, because next week I'm breaking down Earnest Money versus due diligence, and trust me, that's a game changer. And if you're thinking about buying or selling or even relocating to Charlotte, make sure you grab my free relocation guide below and reach out. Let's make your contract work for you, not against you. So that's it for today, my friends. Remember, knowledge is power, timing is everything, and contracts aren't scary when you've got the right person walking you through them. I'm Evie DeJesus, your Charlotte realtor with a little Brooklyn grit, and I'll see you in the next one.